The ones that, like the ones. What's going on, y'all? It's the kid, FortWorthFabian, BigBossFabo. I'm back with a reaction video for you guys, man. Today I'm reacting to the story of Lynyrd Skynyrd, man. And it looks like this is a VH1, what are these called? Behind the Music type documentary. So if you guys recall, I did do a post a few weeks ago regarding like documentaries and stories. So I've already started on like reactions pertaining to specific artists and stories and documentaries. Someone had recommended looking into VH1, Behind the Music content. So I did look that up and I found a lot of different videos. So you're going to see a lot of, documentaries in this form in terms of like from VH1, so to speak, is what I really meant to say. So I got Lynyrd Skynyrd, man. Another one I have is Def Leppard coming up, and I'm thinking about doing a Journey documentary as well, man. So let me know y'all's thoughts on that in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on Instagram, Twitter at FortWorthFabian. It is the road to 1 million subscribers. Peace, love to everybody who is rocking with the channel, man. With that being said, subscribe to the channel. With excuse me, tying into that, I did do a Lynyrd Skynyrd reaction, or a couple of them not too long ago. About 5-6 days ago, I did Tuesday's Gone and I did Freebird. And you know, phenomenal song, obviously phenomenal band. What's the other, T for Texas? So I've done 3 Lynyrd Skynyrd reactions to date. So this is just gonna add to the Lynyrd Skynyrd playlist. Be sure to check out the Lynyrd Skynyrd playlist. You can find a link to that down in the description section below. So let's keep pushing, man. Let's get into the story of Lynyrd Skynyrd.
They were the whiskey rock and rollers of the 70s who helped put Southern rock on the map.
We were bad boys because we'd quit school and we drank and we would fight.
The faster their music raced to the top of the charts, the more their lives spun out of control.
Live fast, die young, and leave a good-looking corpse.
They were flying high until the fateful night it all came crashing down.
My friends were bleeding to death. Every second counted.
I didn't believe it, you know. It's just one of those things that couldn't be true.
Tonight, turmoil, tragedy, and triumph.
There's not many people that I know in this world that can have 2 dreams come true.
Lynyrd Skynyrd, the story behind the music.
Hi, y'all. How y'all doing? Come on, get on the bus with us.
Lynyrd Skynyrd is still truckin'. A band that has carried the flag of Southern rock for a quarter of a century is still playing sold-out shows across the country.
When I stand on that stage and I see that audience, when I see 15, 20,000 people every night standing out there wanting to hear those songs, I know that we're doing something right.
Fans still line up for autographs and a chance to meet the band.
If it wasn't for the fans, we wouldn't be here.
The fact that they're here at all is nothing short of miraculous. If there ever was a rock and roll phoenix that rose from the ashes, Lynyrd Skynyrd is it. This band has endured unthinkable pain and suffering.
It is hard. It's very, very difficult, very complicated, more so than rock and roll probably should have to be.
You can't even realize, seeing one of these things on television, exactly what a crash of this magnitude looks like.
On the evening of October 20th, 1977, Lynyrd Skynyrd's plane crashed, killing 6. Among the dead, the heart and soul of the group, Ronnie Van Zant.
Ronnie Van Zant is Lynyrd Skynyrd. There's nobody else. There's one and only Lynyrd Skynyrd, the spirit of the name. That is Ronnie Van Zant.
Band leader Ronnie Van Zant was Lynyrd Skynyrd's founder, father, and leader, and his death seemed to symbolize the end of a dream. A dream that had catapulted members of a small garage band into international superstars. Growing up poor in Jacksonville, Florida, Ronnie Van Zant dreamed of escaping his impoverished upbringing. Family members recall that by age 8, Ronnie knew music was his ticket out.
He says, I'm gonna come out and be a big singer one day, a celebrity. And I'm gonna pick that guitar, I'm gonna play that piano, I'm gonna beat them drums.
Pretty much where we grew up, on the west side of Jacksonville, all the friends that we basically hung out with are pretty much either in Rayford Prison in Florida or either dead, to be honest. So
Florida boys, man, ain't nothing like good old Florida, man. I stayed in Central Florida, you know, Orlando to be specific. You know, Florida's in my blood. I'm a Florida boy at heart. Even though I'm Texas, I'm Fort Worth, man. Florida is like my second home. Florida's always gonna be the second home. That's really Florida's like, I feel like Florida like molded me a bit. You know what I'm saying? But dang, Ronnie Van Zant. Isn't it crazy how like the ones, they know before what they're gonna do. You know how his father was kind of like mentioning in the story how he already knew what he was gonna be. A lot of these guys that are creatives, artists, household names, they knew at a young age what they was gonna do, and they stick to the guns. You know, they stuck to their guns. So you always seen that, like, it's a common theme amongst a lot of them that they're like, I already knew, or even as a kid I was already mentioning that this day would come.
you know, so music pretty much was our way to get out.
At age 16, Ronnie Van Zant stepped up to the plate on this baseball diamond, and with one swing, he got Lynyrd Skynyrd off to a hard-hitting start.
Myself and Bob Burns, our original drummer, and Ronnie Van Zant, we were playing baseball, and we were watching, and on the third baseline, and he got up to bat, and he hit a foul ball real hard, hit Bob Burns right in the temple and knocked him out. And so he ran over, and when I killed a guy, I killed him. And that's how we met, really.
His family says Ronnie could talk anyone into anything. So they weren't surprised when he convinced his baseball buddies, including guitarist Alan Collins, to form a band. Collins' mom remembers when the group of rowdy teens turned her house into a practice hall.
The band practiced right in this living room for years and years. In fact, young girls loved to come by and just stand out in the driveway and listen to them.
We had a belief, we had a dream, and we knew come hell or high water, we were going to try to make that dream come true.
Struggling to make the dream come true, the band played local bars and high school dances. As a joke, they decided to name themselves after the most notorious teacher in Jacksonville.
I'm the real Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Everybody hated his guts. Coach Lynyrd Skynyrd, as in Skinner's Dairy. He used to hate her guts. And we hated his guts. Lee High School, Jacksonville, Florida.
He used to kick us out of school for having long hair. Back then it was just touching our eyebrows or our ear. And he'd kick you out when he'd come through gym class when you were in the shower.
Well, let me describe that also, because
that's hilarious, bro. Oh, hey, the official Lynyrd Skynyrd. Let's hear him talk, man.
It's really kind of a bum rap. A lot of teachers and a lot of coaches sent boys and girls down for violation of the dress code. But lucky me, one of the ones I sent down was in a band.
He became friends with us. We became friends with him. He grew his hair out long. And it's just like everything was just meant to mesh together, I guess.
After numerous run-ins with Coach Skinner, the band members dropped out of school to dedicate all their time to music.
They saying the coach grew his hair out long? Dang! Talk about an influence. That's wild, man. They named their band after a most hated coach or a faculty member who was part of their school faculty. I don't even know what else he was doing. A coach/teacher, right? That's funny, man. That's like the ultimate homage, especially if that band blow. You be like, yeah, the band's named after me. Like, man, weren't you the guy that was kicking them out of school? Be like, that one?
We were bad boys because we'd quit school and we drank and we would fight. We had long hair, so we'd fight if somebody messed with us. But mainly, it was always the music, you know.
And it was the love of music that got them through the lean years. In the early 1970s, Lynyrd Skynyrd spent countless hours practicing in a 100-degree tin-roof cabin they called Hell House.
The Hell House is where we paid a lot of dues, and that's where I think we became really creative.
It was pretty grueling. We did a lot of hard work. We'd have
you always got to pay your dues.
A day rehearsals out there, and a couple of us have to stay out there and guard the equipment.
We were lucky if we could afford a Coke to bring to practice.
We didn't have any money, and it was hard living, and we were mad at each other a lot. We were always trying to make it, and we weren't that happy. And those weren't good times.
We'd have barely enough money to be able to buy, you know, anything at McDonald's. But when we did get to McDonald's, everybody always comments nowadays, why do you eat so fast? And the reason why we eat so fast is because used to, man, if you didn't finish your meal, if there was anything left, somebody grab it and eat it before you could finish it.
The boys were penniless, but that didn't stop Judy Seymour from falling in love with Ronnie Van Zant. They were married in 1972. Judy worked so Ronnie could concentrate on his music. She even rode a bike to her job so the band could use her car to haul equipment.
I felt like, it was easier for me to have a job and support, help out. So I had the job, and it gave him more time to concentrate on the music part of it.
Later that year, Judy's sacrifices and the band's hard work paid off. While playing a club in Atlanta, Lynyrd Skynyrd was discovered and signed a deal with MCA Records.
That's a ride or die right there, man. Talk about sacrificing because you already believe your significant other's gonna make it. That's crazy, man. A lot of women wouldn't do that, but there are some, yeah, they definitely do that. But man, it must be definitely a rewarding feeling when it comes back around, because a lot of times that risk is taken and maybe the success doesn't really turn out or things don't go the way you planned. So it's kind of like, all right, you may think that it was all for nothing, but if it takes off, that's just a different type of sentiment. I know that's gotta feel crazy.
It was real scary. We were kids still. We were only like 18, Alan and myself, 18 or 19, and we didn't know much. And it was scary, and people were telling us what to do.
The band released its first album in November 1973. Although pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd was a hit, the group wasn't taken seriously until critics got a chance to see them live, when they performed as the opening act for The Who.
Dang.
We started out on tour with The Who in '73 on Quadrophenia tour. And we had like a 30-minute shot. And we're told that no groups have ever opened for The Who in concert that didn't get booed off stage. And supposedly we were the first band to ever open for The Who. And we got good response.
Critics were saying that Lynyrd Skynyrd blew The Who away. That's when we realized we had done our job.
We had crowds standing up and responding very well to us, but the thing was, that's when we started drinking because we were terrified to go up and perform before The Who. The problem was we never stopped.
Coming up next on Behind the Music, Lynyrd Skynyrd loses control.
The drinking was crazy, but we just wake up the next morning and shake it off and go for it.
And later, disaster strikes.
Up there, sitting against the tree, is a piece of an airplane wing, torn away from the rest of the airplane.
It was sort of like Elvis Presley dying. It was a shock. It was a big shock.
Coming off a successful tour as the opening act for The Who, Lynyrd Skynyrd was riding high.
And all of a sudden, the next thing you know, we were headliners and really enjoying it. It was a dream come true is what it was.
But a pattern of alcohol abuse and destructive behavior began to take over their lives.
Well, the women were just there. Same with the alcohol.
The drinking was crazy, but we just wake up the next morning and shake it off and go for it.
Yeah, we'd sit in a hotel room, sit on the bed or on each other's bed and throw the beer in the back of the TV so you could blow the TV up first.
The pressures of being on the road and performing and recording, started getting to the band, and of course they started partying and doing things to try to cope with it and deal with it.
While each of Lynyrd Skynyrd's LPs sold over 1 million copies, Sweet Home Alabama was their only top 10 single. The ode to Southern pride put the band on the map.
Ooh. I kind of just got chills right there. Dang, I didn't check out Sweet Home Alabama whatsoever.
Ooh. I can remember Alan Collins telling me, we just wrote a song called Sweet Home Alabama, and I swear to you, Ricky, it's a hit.
Sweet Home Alabama may have been a hit, but it was Freebird that would become the true rock and roll anthem.
If I leave you, will you come back? 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 If I leave
Oh man, the piano in this song literally takes it to a different level. It's crazy that it's pure genius to add a pianist to a rock band. It's pure genius, bro. Why wasn't that not a common thing? Let me know what y'all's opinion is on that. That just takes, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like sonically that could take you in a completely different direction. And just hearing the keys in this song, it just literally make you shiver, bruh. Freebird is a heater.
Ronnie Van Zant talked about the song's significance in a rare interview filmed in 1975.
The lyric content of Freebird is based on the idea of everybody being free. To me, there's nothing freer than a bird, just flying wherever he wants to go. And I don't know, that's what this country's all about, being free. And I think everybody wants to be a free bird. 'Cause I'm as free as I swear
A lot of songs were written fishing, or just, we write songs about real life and people and situations, and we just write them as we're living.
For the band, the journey from playing garages to sold-out arenas was a fairy tale. But being asked to open for the Rolling Stones in '76 was their wildest dream come true.
Little Georgia honky tonk. We tried to blow their doors off.
I keep expecting to get a call from Mick Jagger because I say, on camera that we blew the Rolling Stones off stage.
So Van Zant was only 29 years old, bro. Dang, unfortunate. I like his presence as well. Real smooth, you know what I'm saying? Like, the aura is speaking louder than he actually need to speak. Even in that little interview segment, you could just feel a certain presence about him. But 29 is young, man. That's hella young to go out, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's crazy, man. R.I.P. to Ronnie Van Zant. Gee.
While Lynyrd Skynyrd was reaching a professional peak, the band members' personal lives were spiraling downward. Drunken brawls were making headlines around the world.
There was that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde syndrome once the alcohol kicked in, and that goes for a lot of us. And those are the only times we ever got beat up. Now, all the other fights we won.
We literally were kicked out of every hotel in London.
They was up in this big suite and having a ball, drinking. And Leon Wilkerson, they done into a fifth of something. He was so happy he got carried away and taking that bottle and threw it through a big old plate glass window. And Ronnie said, son, you didn't do a good enough job. So he picked up the little TV off the stand and boom, threw it to the window. He said, nah, I really did a good job.
That should have been a lesson in itself for us way back then, but we laughed it off and thought it was funny the next day. And I look back at it right now and it wasn't funny at all.
Live fast, die young, and leave a good-looking corpse, I know that's morbid sounding, but that was a saying back then,
I think they kind of felt like, well, this is rock and roll, this is how you're supposed to act.
Part of that act included alcohol-induced fights between band members, usually instigated by Ronnie Van Zant.
They hit me once, and just a lucky punch, I guess. He knocked my first 4 teeth out, front 4 teeth, and so I had to have a 4-piece bridge built.
Ronnie was arrested several times.
He liked to get in trouble and cause trouble and fights, He either would cause them or stop them or whatever. And yeah, that happened a lot. He
was once charged with assault and battery, but basically it was just a street fight. He got the best of somebody, so he was the one who did the assaulting.
But nobody would ever fight Ronnie back. They were scared to, because they knew they'd get really, really hurt.
He was a redneck, when I met him, I knew that he could get provoked easily and get in a fight. That was just part of him.
Lynyrd Skynyrd's violent behavior and alcohol abuse signaled a rough road ahead. On Labor Day weekend of 1976, both Alan Collins and Gary Rossington were seriously hurt in separate accidents. Both had been drinking.
Oh, I just, got drunk one night and peeled out.
Gary's accident was the inspiration for the song, That Smell.
Rockstar lifestyle might not make it. Dang, that's very morbid. A rockstar lifestyle, I may not make it. That's a saying too. But what was the whole thing with, like, you know, crashing or thrashing hotel rooms? That was a rock star thing to do too. They would just like tear up a hotel room because they was just turned up, or what? Off some drugs, or it was part of being a rock star.
Whiskey bottle, brand new car, oak tree in my way.
I got in a wreck. I hit an oak tree on a curve, and you know, I think I did some quaaludes, which is, you know, it says it in the song, and it's just a true story about what happened to.
Dang, so they wrote a song about it,
which was me one night.
We were getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's the bottom line.
It would take a small miracle to make Ronnie Van Zant realize the band needed to clean up its act. That miracle happened on September 19th, 1976, when his wife Judy gave birth to their daughter Melody.
What's your name, little girl? What's your name? Shouldn't you stay, little girl? Won't you do the same?
He felt like it was time to settle down and set examples and, you know, be a good father, and he couldn't do that and you know, have the reputation and be wild and crazy.
I think he, you know, felt like he wanted to be around to actually see her grow up.
Her birth changed him a lot, and he started, you know, taking better care of himself, quit drinking, and he just started taking good care of himself.
Melody's birth was the highlight of Ronnie's life. But behind his smile was a tormented man who seemed to always know his happiness would be short-lived.
He said to me many times, Daddy, I'll never reach 30 years old. I said, why are you talking this gunk? You'll never reach 30 years old. He said, Daddy, that's my limit.
Ronnie and I were in Tokyo, Japan, and Ronnie told me,
words hold weight, man. That's what I say. I mean, that's what I said the other day. A lot of people say that, but you know, do y'all believe that? Like, the power of the tongue, the power of what you speak into the universe can come around. You know, I felt like maybe he was saying that in the sense that of alcohol abuse. Maybe that was kind of in the back of his mind. Like, you know, I've drank a lot. Maybe my organs will fail. You know, maybe my system's going to fail before I hit 30. But the fact that it was a plane crash and he was one, I know they said other people on the plane died, but wasn't he the only one out the band that died? Or was it like a couple of them that died out the band? But it's crazy that that's what took him out. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
that he would never live to see 30, and that he was going to go out with his boots on, in other words, on the road. So, and of course, you know, in Tokyo, I said, Ronnie, don't talk like that. But the man knew his destiny.
Just ahead on Behind the Music, the fateful plane crash that killed a legend and devastated the world of rock and roll.
It felt like being in a solid steel garbage can, rolling down a hill, being hit with 100 baseball bats in the head.
And then surviving band members and family tried to make sense of the tragedy.
God is a jealous God. God taking him for reasons I don't know.
Following the birth of his daughter Melody, Ronnie Van Zant put his party days behind him. He felt the upcoming tour to promote Lynyrd Skynyrd's Street Survivors album in October 1977 would be a new beginning for the band.
It's a good name, because we're like street survivors, you know? We were, Ronnie, of course, prided himself on being, you know, from the streets. He was streetwise and everything. And that helps, you know, in dealing with what you have to deal with being in the public like Ronnie was.
He was feeling great. His voice was strong, and he was ready to go.
On the afternoon of Thursday, October 20th, everyone is flying high from a week of sold-out shows. Family members accompany the band to the airport in Greenville, South Carolina, as the group heads to its next concert in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. As the band is preparing to board the plane, the pilot discovers engine trouble, but assures the 24 passengers it's safe to get on. Everyone is...
But that's crazy. How do you have the audacity, bro, to say it's okay to fly when you find engine trouble? What logic is there in that, man? Because, I don't know, I think I saw some Wikipedia article where they said, now they're saying it's engine trouble. The article says something along the lines of they didn't have any gas. He knew they were short on fuel, but he decided to make to reach the destination regardless. Come on, homie. Come on, bro.
So confident.
Alan didn't want to because the plane had been sputtering and one engine was bad, and Ronnie just went, oh, if it's your time to go, it's your time, let's go. So he got on, so we just all kind of got on.
Our wives, everybody got scared. Everybody was afraid for us to get on this thing, but we got on anyway because we didn't know better.
The twin-engine plane takes off around 5 p.m. Band members are starting to relax by playing poker, like they did so many times before, as seen in these rare home movies. When the sun begins to set, it finally feels like a routine flight. Everyone is joking around and laughing. But just before 6 p.m., 80 miles outside Baton Rouge, the pilot radios air traffic control that he's low on fuel. As he prepares to make an emergency landing at a small airfield, the right engine stalls out.
Fire's coming out, which scared everybody to death right then and there.
I could see in the pilot and co-pilot, I could see in their eyes there was fear.
While trying to shift the remaining fuel to the one working engine, the pilot panics and accidentally dumps it. A moment later, the second engine shuts down.
It got real quiet.
What?
And all we heard was air, wind.
Whoa.
And co-pilot came back and said...
So it was an honest mistake. Honestly, he was trying to recirculate the fuel and he panicked and he dumped it. Whoa, I missed that part of the story.
Get in your seat. Tell everybody to get in their damn seats right now. We're crashing.
The pilot attempts a belly landing on the edge of a swamp 2 miles outside Gillsburg, Mississippi. But the plane is falling too fast. It begins clipping treetops.
I told Billy that we were going to crash. I went around and played stewardess. I asked everybody to buckle their seat belts, to put their cigarettes out, to turn off any lights, conserve power.
We just kind of all looked at each other and went down.
Everybody was sitting down kind of praying, you know, just real silently, just being like, oh, God, no, don't take my life now, you know, and stuff. And then I remember my heart was like, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. And I was just watching the pine trees get bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden, crack. You could hear the crackling at first. And then the initial impact was very violent, very sudden.
The plane crashes into the swamp. On impact, it shatters into 3 pieces. Passengers are violently thrown from their seats.
It felt like being in a solid steel garbage can, rolling down a hill, being hit with 100 baseball bats in the head, body, ankles, you name it.
And I was hurt real bad and broke all my bones and was laying there and looking around at people dying or dead, like Vietnam War or something.
Although he's injured, drummer Artemis Pyle manages to crawl from the wreckage and run for help.
With his ribs sticking out of him.
Dang.
Out of his chest. He went uphill, over barbed wire fences, in the woods, almost completely dark now, and 2 foot of swamp muck. We were waiting for the alligators and snakes to come down on us.
I walked to the farmhouse to bring help back to the crash site. My friends were bleeding to death. Every second counted.
Rescue workers have to carry the victims through a mile of swampland. Waiting helicopters and ambulances transport the injured to local hospitals. Band leader Ronnie Van Zant.
Dang. See, amidst all of that, like the turmoil and the chaos going on, I was curious to know if they were gonna kind of explain Ronnie's expression or his energy during the time, you know, everybody's freaking out as they're descending. Like, was he calm? Was he still keeping the same energy along the lines of when it's your time, it's your time? I was really interested to see if they were going to mention something along the lines of, was he composed during that time? You know what I mean? Like, how was Ronnie acting as they were crashing? But this is part 1, man. I didn't mention to you guys, I do these in 2 parts. We reacted about over 20 minutes of it. We're going to continue part 2. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter at FortWorthFabian. Man, it's the road to 1 million. Peace, love, prosperity. Everybody rocking with the channel. We'll see you next time, man. R.I.P. Ronnie.